cookbook got created. I will go into the cookbook and see what's there inside. I went in, and when I type ls-l, okay, you can see there are some files and there are some folders here. Okay, so let's come out of that cookbook folder and you can see all the cookbooks. I'll create one more. So chef generate cookbook sample 2. Now ls-l cd into the sample 2 and see. Check it. Again, you got same structure. So this experimentation, what it is telling you guys, can I say that when you create a cookbook, we get a standard structure created? Do you agree with that statement? Confirm. So when I create a cookbook, we just saw sample 1. When I went in, I saw some files and folders. Again, I came back. I So when you create a cookbook, it will contain some standard structure, or you can say standard format. So that is what you need to know now. Okay. Now, please make a note of these points quickly. Now, subsidiary questions, knowledge related. How many cookbooks can we create? The answer is n. Infinity. You can create a number of cookbooks as per your requirement. So the question is, how many cookbooks can we create? The answer is n. And where do you create? On the workstation. And where do you test the cookbook? On the workstation. Where do you upload? To the server. And where it is getting executed? On the client. So a number of cookbooks can be created, written on the workstation, tested on the workstation, uploaded onto the server, executed on the client. Okay, so that's the flow. Now, please write this structure information, guys. If you see the structure properly, if you count them, the total head count are 10 in number. If you count them, there will be 10 here. 7 will be files and 3 will be folders. So white color are files and this blue color are the folders. So in head count, there are 10 items. So among these 10 items, we'll know each one. So the first one is change log.md. So which keeps a track of changes to the cookbook code after you upload onto the server. So before upload, it will not care at all. So after you upload onto the server, if the same cookbook, if you're trying to make some changes again, re-upload to the server, it starts tracking. Okay. Chef ignore is exactly similar to the git ignore. Like anything in this cookbook, the file that you create, any dummy file you want or don't want to upload, then you can write them into the chef ignore. Kitchen.yml, that means this file I'm talking, this file. So we don't have any work with that file because this is not our area of expertise. The reason is that file will be updated by test engineer. Basically, any test cases they are planning to write on the cookbook. So it will be written into the kitchen.yml. So that is done by test engineer. The next license, we document the license. What is the use of the cookbook? We do it, DevOps. Then metadata.rb. This is also our duty. So I'm talking about metadata.rb file. So we just go ahead and update the meta information. So metadata contains little technical details. And if you talk about policy file, this is again not an area of concern for us because policies, guidelines, and rules and regulations on the cookbook will be updated by the admin, chef admin, not the DevOps activity, guys. Earlier, this file used to be called as box file, but now we are calling this as policy file. README, this is also updated by us. And recipes, this is an interesting. So that means I'm talking about this folder. Here, if you come back, this is the folder I'm talking about, recipes. So this is interesting for us because you have to, or we have to go into this default.rb, and this is the place where exactly you guys have to write the code. I repeat, recipes folder will be point of interest for us. Once you go inside the recipes folder, you will see a file that is called as default.rb, and that's the file where we write the code. And this default.rb file is called as recipe, and the folder is classified as recipes. So folder is plural form, file is singular form. Recipe, recipes. Am I clear? So far, am I clear, guys? Please confirm. And generally, for the interview perspective, they can ask you the structure of the cookbook, guys. This is highly targeted area. They'll pick up the items which are generally DevOps oriented, and they can ask you what is the use of it. Let's say they can ask you what is the use of Chef Ignore, or what you do with metadata, or what you do with the recipes folder or default.rb. Where do you write the code? And the next one is spec folder. So let's come back to this. Again, we don't have any work with these two folders because this is not an area of interest for us. So in the spec and test folders, generally they will document about integration coding, integration test coding, and unit test codings are written by testing team. So the people, testing people, the testing career people, they learn Selenium, right? Selenium, Cucumber. Likewise, from the Chef also, there is a small software available which they have to learn. That software is called as Test Kitchen or Food Centric. So that's is nobody teaches in the market currently, and even you will not find this in Udemy also. So officially, you need to learn from Chef company only. That's a 2 weeks program, and this is generally not for us. That is for the testing people, and the cost price is around 45,000. So that is officially given by the Chef company only for 2 weeks. So those who are from testing background, they will learn this, and they become eligible to write the test cases on Cookbook. So that's the area. Now, I will go ahead and show you how to execute a cookbook now. So that's our duty. So we need to know how to execute a cookbook, guys. So first thing is, step one is we have to create a cookbook. So let's come back. I'll also come back. So you can see, I'll assume that I already created the cookbook. I'll utilize the sample one. Got it? So my conclusion is already sample one is there, so I'm not creating it. So I'll assume that it is created. Then write the code in the recipe file. Write the code in the recipe file. This is a sample code. I'm just copying this sample code, guys. So don't focus on the codes yet, because I told you always first you should focus on executions, then we'll see the code writing. I went into the sample, then I'll go into the recipes, and I see the default. I'll open up this default file and document the code. I'll go not to delete anything there, just go there and copy, paste the code. That's it. So a small code has been written, which is trying to install an application called Net-Tools. Our focus is on to know the execution process. So I written some code and saved it. So step number 2 is done. Step number 3, we have to do a syntax check. So similarly, we also done in the Ansible also. Once we written the code, we used to do a dry run, correct? Here we call this as syntax check, or you can also call this as dry run. So dry run we are doing, the command is chef exec ruby-c, type the file name. Chef exec ruby-c default.rb. It will tell you whether your code is correct or wrong. So the code is nice. So you got syntax okay. Now keep in mind, this dry run will only check the syntaxes, not the logic. So syntaxes as of now are okay. The next step 4 is to do the testing. So whatever the code that we written, we whether it will work or not, we need to check this. So that is nothing but testing. So I told you. So what is the use of workstation? So workstation is we'll use it to write the code and then to test the code. First part is done. We return the code. Now we are focusing on testing the code now. So I'm going ahead and about to test this cookbook now, whether really it works or not. So before I test, I want to show you something. See, ipconfig, ifconfig, okay? Ifconfig command is not working at this point of time on this mission. The moment I run the playbook, this cookbook, that means the moment I implement that code, so that code is going to install net-tools application, and that will help you to install all the networking commands. Then after that is done, you'll see that ifconfig will start working. Okay, so let's try. To execute the test of the cookbook, you need to say chef-client. And you need to say --local and then type the cookbook name, that recipe name. So chef-client --local and type the recipe name. Press enter. So it is installing it is going for execution. So that means if you're trying to execute this cookbook on workstation, that means you are trying to test the code whether it works or not. So you can see this is good. So I got my prompt back. Okay. So I want to see whether it executed or not. So I need to run now if config. You see, I got command is working and I'm able to see the IP address now. So this is an IP address. So that means that whatever the code that I written, it is working perfectly. So the test is completed. So that means cookbook is done. This part is good. The next is we need to update all the supporting files which exist in the cookbook now. So what are those supporting files? So come out of this recipes folder and you will see all these are all actually called supporting files for your cookbooks. So here you have to update literally these files, guys. So these are the files you need to keep an eye. License, readme, metadata, and chef ignore. So among these two, metadata is a mandatory and rest of them are optional. Whether you update, you don't update them, it will work. Based on necessity, we have to do it. But metadata is mandatory. So first we'll start with license, okay? So that means this one. So VI license. Open this and write. So see how I'll write. So this CB cookbook is licensed to execute on VKT org. That is the organization we created. See, general license documentation is a standard template that you'll have in your project. So please try to follow it. So I just written a sample here. Then next we need to update the README file. Okay. So open up the README file. So this one. So vi readme. So in the readme file, you have to talk about what the cookbook can do, okay, or what cookbook is designed. So this cookbook will install net-tools app. That's it. So readme is done. So what is our next? Metadata. Okay, and you have to be careful with this file. Any silly mistake in the metadata, you'll get errors, guys. For the first two, even you fill the movie story also, it will take it. It just wants the English. If you feel nice English, it will take it. But metadata, it's not about the English there. You need to fill the details correctly. So let's open that fellow. So that is this file. So vi metadata. So don't manhandle it much. Just you need to update the target value. So maintainer, who has written this cookbook, you have to update their name. So let's say I written the cookbook. I'll write my name. If you write in a real time, then you write your names. Then maintainer email ID. I'll write my email ID here. That's it. Nothing much here. Save this and close. So that part is done. Now chef ignore. So do we have any necessity now to update the chef ignore, guys? Do we have any unnecessary file in the cookbook to update chef ignore? So the purpose of the chef ignore is anything that you mention in the chef ignore, that particular file from the cookbook will not get uploaded to the server. So as of now, we don't have anything here which I created unwantedly, which need not to be uploaded to the server. So chef ignore is not a use case now. So I'm not touching it. So once these parts are done, then you need to test the cookbook, come out, and you should see all the cookbooks. See, I see all the cookbooks. Correct. Now apply it. So cook style is a command. Cook style and type the cookbook name. Press enter. It will check entire cookbook and tell you whether everything is fine or not. You can see it's saying inspected, 0 files, no offenses detected. Why it is not checking? Cook style. So let's get into the cookbooks and see whether it will take it. So cook style sample 1. Now, so that is fine. No issues in this. Then once you does not find any issues here, then let's go ahead and upload the cookbook onto the server. So before you upload, if you want to see any cookbooks there on the server, this is the command. So you can see knife cookbook list. So this command will show you how many cookbooks are there on the server side. So nothing. So these are all warnings, guys. So you can ignore. So these are all depreciation warnings. I need to disable this. So you can ignore this. So as of now, nothing. So how to upload? Knife book upload and type the cookbook name. That's it. Knife cookbook upload, type the cookbook name. That's the command. So that means I'm typing this. Knife cookbook upload and type the cookbook name. So it will go in and transfer the file. It is done. You can see uploading the sample 1, so and so. Now check the list. You see, at the end, I got the information as sample 1 0.1.0. Okay. So sample 1 0.1.0. So this is what I got. So cookbook has been uploaded. So once the cookbook has been uploaded, we need to focus on run list. Step number 8. So run list, as I told you, this is nothing but distribution of the cookbook to the so and so computer. So the command is this. So we just copy that command and fill the values. So knife node run underscore list add to which computer you want to give. So what is our client name, guys? Do you remember what was our client name that we configured? So that is chef hyphen client. That's the name. And what is the cookbook that you want to give to it? And here you need to type the cookbook name only that has been uploaded to the server. So if you type sample 2, you'll get error, guys, because sample 2 cookbook, though I created, I haven't uploaded to the server. So that is illogical. Only sample 1, which is already there on the server. So to this computer, please assign sample 1. It's done. So you got the message chef hyphen client run list got created so and so. To verify whether run list got created or not, you have to use knife node show command, guys. So I'll show you now. Knife node show and check the put the client name. So you got the details from here to here. Okay. Now you see the run list details here. You see. So recipe of sample 1 has been assigned. Sample 1 is cookbook and default recipe has been assigned. And the client machine is CentOS 7 and its IP address so and so and its machine name is so and so. And you need to keep an eye on this column also. This column, recipes column, currently it is empty. Okay. So two columns are important here for the knowledge of DevOps, guys. That is this column, run list column and recipes column are important. Why? Run list column will tell you what is assigned. Okay. Recipes column will tell you what has been done. So let's say one cookbook I have assigned. Now recipes column has been empty here. So what does it mean? Is it implemented or not implemented? Tell me, guys. So run list says one property has been assigned or one item has been assigned or one work has been assigned. Recipe column is empty. What does it mean? If it is empty means it is not yet implemented. So now the question comes is how to get this implemented on the client. Okay. So to do that, from the workstation, directly connect to your client machine SSH root account of 192.168.1.230. Who is 230, guys? Who is 230? It's a client. You have to do all the actions from workstation only. That means story, screenplay, direction, everything is workstation. Okay. Got connected. I got connected to the client, guys. So you can see root at the rate chef hyphen client. I got connected to the client. SSH command. Once I get connected, then you need to simply say chef hyphen client. That's it. Nothing else. Chef hyphen client. The moment you fire this command, the client machine will reach out to the server, pick up the book that has been assigned for it, and it will read the code from that cookbook and implement. Sonnet hyphen tools, we told it to install. Okay. So it is taking its own time. So it will take 4 to 5 minutes of time. So in total, how many steps are there, guys? Count them. 10 steps are there. So can I say the process is more stringent? Do you agree? Yes or no? The process of execution is more strategic. Okay. And it is more secure also. That's the reason I told you that Chef tool is used in bigger projects, because client will only listen to the directions from the server, nothing else, once it is bootstrapped. More strategic and more lengthy also. Okay, it seems to be done. You can see it says it's done. Now, literally, it's done. How you will know? Generally, you'll get some green color stuff here, guys. It installed. Green color stuff indicates that it has been finished. If you get red color, problem. If you get white color here, it means that already it is there. So only 3 colors: red, green, white. So, but still I want to check if config should work here. It's working. Clear? So this is about your cookbook execution, guys. Cookbook execution process. Now, in simple words, I'll try to summarize. What was our first step? We'll write only keywords here. What was our first step, guys? We created the cookbook. Second step, they will ask you the flow in the interview. The reason is this is the only tool in entire DevOps where the process of execution is lengthy. No other tool has this much of lengthy steps. You take it as such shell scripting, or you take it Terraform, you take it Ansible or Jenkins. They have very minimal execution process, even Docker or Kubernetes. But this is the only one which has very lengthy. So they may target you on the execution process. So create cookbook. Then we'll write the code. Then we do the syntax check. Please write these keywords, guys. And fourth one, then we'll test the recipe that is written, or we can say it is code also written. Fifth one, will update files of cookbook. Then sixth one, what we'll do? What's the next one? Then we'll test the cookbook. Then